The Battle of New Orleans, fought on January 8, 1815, stands as one of the most dramatic and unexpected victories in American history, a clash that unfolded amidst the swamps and sugarcane fields of Louisiana and catapulted General Andrew Jackson to the status of a national legend. The War of 1812, often called America's Second War of Independence, had been raging for over 2 years, sparked by disputes over British interference in American trade, the forced impressment of American sailors into the Royal Navy, and British support for Native American tribes resisting U.S. expansion. By late 1814, British commanders, seeking to strike a crippling blow to the young republic, set their sights on New Orleans, a city whose control over the mouth of the Mississippi River made it the economic lifeline of the Western territories. If the British could seize it, they could strangle American commerce and potentially claim vast portions of the frontier, altering the balance of power in North America forever. Andrew Jackson, a fiery and determined leader with a reputation for toughness earned during battles against the Creek Indians, arrived in New Orleans in December 1814 to find the city vulnerable and its population gripped by fear. With limited time and resources, Jackson moved quickly, rallying a ragtag but fiercely determined force that reflected the diversity of the region. His defenders included U.S. Army regulars, frontier militiamen from Tennessee and Kentucky, local Creole and Cajun volunteers, free African Americans, Native American warriors, and even pirates led by the notorious Jean Lafitte, who offered their naval expertise and artillery in exchange for pardons. Jackson's leadership forged this disparate group into a cohesive army, united by the determination to protect their homes and livelihoods. As the British fleet advanced, landing thousands of red-coated soldiers along the banks of the Mississippi, Jackson ordered the construction of a formidable defensive line along the Rodriguez Canal, just outside the city. Using mud, logs, and cotton bales, his men built an imposing rampart that bristled with cannons and sharpshooters. Meanwhile, the British, commanded by the experienced but overconfident Major General Edward Pakenham, believed their superior numbers and discipline would make quick work of the Americans. However, they severely underestimated both the strength of Jackson's defenses and the ferocity of his men. On the foggy morning of January 8, 1815, the British launched their assault, advancing in tight columns across the open fields toward the American lines. Initially cloaked by mist, the redcoats marched with precision, but as the fog lifted, they were met by a devastating barrage of musket and cannon fire. American sharpshooters, many of them skilled hunters from the frontier, picked off British officers with deadly accuracy, while artillery crews unleashed volleys of grapeshot that tore through the ranks. The British, caught in the crossfire, struggled to regroup as their lines disintegrated under the relentless hail of bullets and shells. Pakenham rode forward to rally his troops but was struck down by a shot, leaving his men leaderless and in disarray. Attempts to scale the ramparts failed, and the muddy fields became a killing ground littered with British dead and wounded. By the time the smoke cleared, the British had suffered catastrophic losses, with over 2,000 soldiers killed, wounded, or captured, while the Americans counted fewer than 100 casualties. It was a stunning and lopsided victory that sent shockwaves through both nations. Yet, in a strange twist of fate, the battle was fought 2 weeks after the Treaty of Ghent had been signed in Europe, officially ending the war. News of the treaty had not yet reached New Orleans, and the soldiers on both sides fought without knowing that peace had already been declared. Despite its timing, the Battle of New Orleans became a defining moment in American history. For the fledgling United States, it was a triumph that reaffirmed national pride and proved that the country could stand against one of the world's greatest military powers. For Andrew Jackson, it was the victory that transformed him from a regional commander into a national icon, paving the way for his eventual rise to the presidency. The battle also demonstrated the power of unity, as Americans from vastly different backgrounds came together to defend their home and defy the odds. It became a symbol of resilience, determination, and the fierce independence that defined the American spirit. The legacy of the Battle of New Orleans endured long after the last shots were fired. Celebrated in songs, stories, and ceremonies, it inspired generations and cemented its place as one of the most legendary battles in U.S. history. Though it did not alter the terms of the peace treaty, its psychological impact resonated across the nation, turning what had been a divisive and often unpopular war into a source of unity and pride. It remains a powerful reminder of how leadership, strategy, and courage can shape the course of history against overwhelming odds.